Dancing bananas in the chat. Dancing bananas, dance, banana dance. Hey guys, what's up? Chad Prather Show Monday. I hope everybody is doing well, rocking and rolling. And good week, man. We're having a good week already. It's Monday. I hope you guys were able to join me this morning before the noise. Rumble's been so good to me. Letting that show jump into the live feature aspect of Rumble. Someone keeps showing them some love right here with this little mic flag. Rumble! I think we had about 8,000 people watching that this morning. That's impressive, man. That's impressive. It's encouraging because it's the right message, I think. And it's hard to do an hour-long Bible study. I know Linda loves it. Linda Adams. Linda loves the Bible studies. But we got to give Linda credit. She started the Dance of Banana thing. Golly. Anyway, it's good. Good. I'm glad you guys are there. Have you gotten my book, Born for Meaning? I want you to get it. Go get it. What's up, everybody? I want to see you in the chat. Make sure that everybody is alive and well. If you're wondering where the chat is, I mean, you can do it on Facebook. You can do it on whatever that other thing is, YouTube. But the real party is over in Rumble. That's where it's at. That's where the Dance of Bananas are. Because a lot of you say, I don't know what the Dance of Banana is. Well, down at the bottom of the chat in Rumble, they got little emojis you can pick from, little animated things. And one of them's our Dancing Banana. I don't know where those things come from. We need a little cowboy hat. We need a little something like that. So what's up, man? Did y'all have a good weekend? Last night, we were able to go raise some money for Wheelchairs for Warriors. We had a good time there. Kenny Webster, Steve Johnson, Jesse Payton, Eric Knowles, myself. We did a little comedy there last night. Had fun down in Houston. It's the most white people I'd seen in that neighborhood in a long time. I guarantee they didn't know what hit them. But we had a lot of fun. And I'm off for a couple of weeks as far as doing live shows, which is kind of interesting. I've been slowing down a little bit, man. I think I have to. I've got so many things on my plate, and I got to ask my friend Eric Apple with Bet Online. He called me the other day, and there's a new MMA, mixed martial arts fighting league that's coming out, kind of a UFC type deal. And guess who they want to be one of the announcers, one of the commentators, the fight commentators? Yeah, me and Eric. So I'm like, let's do it. Why not? Who knows? So, I mean, I got a podcast. I'm announcing fights. I'm basically Joe Rogan at this point. Better looking than Joe, though. He's not in good a shape. But anyway, man, what's going on in Portland, Oregon? I know everybody's got, you see what's in the headlines. Because, the stuff that gets the clicks, the crazy, the protests and some of the violence. And, you think that Portland's turning into a live action disaster movie. No director, no script. Nobody, everybody's, it's like everything's just gotten handed a Molotov cocktail and nobody wants to clean up the mess. And so it is a fact. You've got a lot of protests that are happening in Portland, and we're going to talk about those. You got the people, roaming the streets, torching their own city in the name of justice, while a lot of the decent folks are just trying to watch their neighborhoods collapse, and they're just trying to get to work and do life. Yeah, and every dadgum night, I mean, you got another, riot, another altercation. You got, people getting tackled and arrested, and it's just insane. I mean, you saw the other day where in Chicago, as a point of fact, where the lady used her car to ram the federal vehicles that had ICE agents in it. She got shot. And, you don't want to see stuff like this happen. You don't in any of our cities. But what we're seeing in Portland is crazy because, the line between protesting and what I would say pure chaos is sort of eroding, or if not erased. And, people, you can call it activism. I saw, a clip, we may get into this, where the guy, was F you to the National Guardsman out there, and then decided to spit in his face. F-A-F-O. I mean, you got a right to free speech, but you don't have a right to free spit on somebody, because that immediately becomes battery. So it's sort of what we're seeing is kind of anarchy by invitation. And when a movement like Antifa or whatever depends on smashing stuff and trying to scare your neighbors or blocking streets or any of this kind of stuff, you've lost the argument before it even started. So you got federal agents; they can't stand by idly. I mean, it's literally it's deteriorating into a war zone in a lot of ways. And the city is letting the protesters kind of claim the entire blocks because, let's face it, the police and the judges and everybody else, they're Antifa. You know, you're going to block roads, block driveways. You're going to loot and act surprised when the cops push back. And, you know, you got this local government that's standing there passively, kind of like a deer in the headlights. And they don't want the federal help to come in there. But things are going to get so bad, you know, they're going to have to sue to stop military deployment. And now you got more troops coming in. So it's a crazy mix. It's like you're pouring gasoline on the fire in some ways. And you got, you know, the ICE agents, the ICE facilities, I should say, under a nightly siege with the protesters, you know, coming at them, you know, throwing fireworks, shattering windows, you know, trying to, all the stuff, defacing things. And, you know, there's arrests that are happening, but too often it's a little too late. Too little too late, I should say. And so now we've got this backlash spinning into even more chaos. I want to talk about that today. Because you're thinking, well, that's in Portland. I don't live in Portland. Well, it matters because it's sort of a precursor to what could come to any one of our cities if we're not careful with this. And there are a lot of people in Oregon. You know, people say, oh, just let Oregon go. I don't agree with that. There's some good people in those places. There's people who are living and working and raising their kids and have the same values you do, and they're getting trapped in this crossfire. And, you know, we got to have some law and order, which is being torn to pieces. And when that happens, it's not activism. It's a city that's weaponizing its own breakdown. So, you know, the leadership of Oregon, and Portland in particular, they can posture and lecture. They can wring their hands and say, oh, we got it all under control. It's a beautiful place. But when the fire's burning down the block, you know, we don't need more talking points. You got to put that out. You know, and they're going to file lawsuits to stop guard deployment while the city's burning piece by piece. So, you know, if you say that, you know, we're proud of our progressive, you know, whatever, you got to at some point say this is the devolution of society. Like this is a downward spiral. And, you know, you get so obsessed with symbolism, you forget how to govern, and, you know, you get locked into an outrage that forgets how to protect. And there's a lot of crap that's going on that I think we need to talk about today. So, you know, it's literally, Portland is literally facing not just protests, but is facing a collapse from within. And until somebody rips those rose-colored glasses off and cleans house, it's going to keep being a mess, man. So, do we have anybody from Oregon in the chat? I know, you know, David Medina. You need to be following David. David's got his finger on the pulse of so many things. And the direction that David is taking is so different from what a lot of these guys are doing because David's showing a lot of love. And I know he can hear what I'm saying right now, but and that's not just lip service to him. I'm proud of what he's doing. He's doing a great work there in his home city of Portland. So you guys need to be following at David Medina PDX on social media, Instagram, as well as on X. I'm going to give you guys a history lesson on Oregon here in a little bit. But before we do that, let me remind you that I need you to go over and support our friends at Birch Gold. Text Chad to 989898, and they'll send you a free no-obligation information kit. Would you please do that for me? If you notice Before the Noise, we don't have any sponsors on Before the Noise. It's a labor of love. Now, I'm not saying at some point in time I wouldn't mind, you know, somebody to help keep the lights on. But I'm thankful for the Chad Prather Show that we got Birch Gold. They help us do exactly that. And I need you to help me by texting Chad to 989898. They got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They will help you diversify your savings, your 401k, your IRA that's just sitting there depending on the crazy volatility of the stock market. They will help you get a tax-sheltered IRA that funds your retirement backed by physical gold. And that's fantastic. That's a good idea. Text Chad to 989898, and they will send you that information kit, all right? So talk to them over there, and do me a favor with that. All right, he's making all the noise in the world with his microphone unmuted. Steve's over there shoveling rocks. Bring him on. Party foul, Steve. What are you doing, boy?
It's I forgot today was Monday. I forgot they always mow the grass at same time every Monday.
Yeah.
And so the dogs weren't put up. Nothing was, I had to clear the backyard out. It's crazy. So that's why all the noise. Hopefully nobody out there in you know, the internet world heard all the stuff shuffling going on in here.
They didn't hear it.
Okay, good.
Just me. It was just in my ear.
Yeah,
Just
I do
in my
apologize for that. It was
It's
I went
okay.
into panic mode.
You're fine, dude. We make this up as we go, bro.
Yeah, wait till the blower goes off, and then you tell me if y'all can hear it or not.
If you can, you can.
Yeah.
You know what I did the other day? And, Steve, I like to keep like silver coins with me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll, if I've valet park at a hotel or something like that, or, you got somebody that carries your bags or does something like that, I like to tip with those silver coins. Pretty dadgum good tip. But I like it because it's a conversation piece. And talking about Birch Gold made me think about that. So I went and played golf on Saturday with my friend Mark Wills. Grand Ole Opry member, country music legend Mark Wills.
Oh, he had that song, one of those wedding songs or something.
I do.
That's it. Okay.
Cherish you for the rest of my. I'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
One you like.
Oh,
a
in
dream come
1970
true.
something. That song, 1970 something.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he's done a few things. Anyway, we went and played golf the other day at a golf course it's a Tiger Woods golf course. Very nice. You have to have a caddy with you, okay? So Chris was our caddy, and he's a phenomenal dude, and we just had a blast hanging out with him. And we at the end of it, you tip him $100 or something like that. So I asked Chris, I said, all right, I'm going to give you a choice. I was messing with him. He's a good-humored guy. So I'm going to give you a choice. I held out a $100 bill. I said, I'll give you this $100 bill or my ball marker. Which do you want? Well, it was a gold eagle, little tiny, about the size of a dime.
Okay,
so it's
you're
tenth
talking about
of an ounce.
A gram?
A tenth of an ounce. Okay. And so he looks at it and he goes, I think I'll take the ball marker. Yeah. And I said, I think you made a wise choice.
Yeah, it's probably worth about $115.
No, that was worth, at the time, that spot price was $4.97.
Oh,
on that
okay.
one.
So that's more than a gram. That'd be
yeah.
Yeah.
That was more than a gram. So he made a wise choice.
I keep a stack of silver back here on my,
Yeah.
thing. My son's always, Dad, why do you leave that out? I was like, because it looks cool.
Yeah. Linda got turned on when I said ball marker.
I bet so.
Do you know the history of Oregon and what happened in the 80s?
No, in the 80s, there was that game that came out on the computer. It's called the Oregon Trail, where you had your little guy and you're like going west. That's what I know about Oregon.
More specifically, the cult that was there. And every bit of this happened. And this is one of the reasons why Oregon and the Pacific Northwest has the problems that it has, because, back before it was the land of the hipsters and the coffee shops and the protests, it was one of the strangest cult takeovers in American history. So there was this dude named Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. Okay, say that real fast. Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. And they called him Osho. And he goes into Oregon from India, and he called himself a spiritual teacher. I mean, just like any other cult leader, right? But what he built was like a religious corporation, and he was outside of, it wasn't in Portland, but it was a little ways away. And so he had these followers called the Rajneeshis, and they bought this ranch in Wasco County, a little town called Antelope. And they renamed it, they called it Rajneeshpuram. You follow me so far?
Yeah, I'm following you.
You want to move to Rajneeshpuram?
No, thank you.
So the locals, I mean, they didn't think anything about it. You just got some orange-robed folks started doing meditation out in the desert, right? Out in the hills. But this commune started to grow. So they built homes, they built an airstrip, they built restaurants, they even had their own police force. And they were building a city, right? So, and it got weird because the Rajneeshis, they wanted political control. They wanted to win county elections and just kind of get the power and cement it. So they came up with this scheme. What they did is they started bussing in homeless people from all over America. And they called it Share a Home program. And so they started bringing in all of these thousands of homeless men and women, and they promised them food and shelter and community. But the real goal here wasn't compassion for the homeless. They were trying to bring in voters. And so they tried to get all of them registered so all those people, they could swing the local election and just take over Wasco County. And so here's the problem. Once the buses arrived, that's when the chaos happened, because the homeless recruits, they were given new clothes and assigned on work crews, but they didn't have enough food to feed them. So now you got everybody's upset, right? And they started to rebel. So eventually the Rajneeshis dumped the entire plan because it was backfiring, And then the locals were fighting against it, and the Oregon officials began to take notice. And then the investigators started discovering that the Rajneeshis were wiretapping operations. It was voter fraud. It was immigration scams. And it was like they did a bioterror attack in 1984. It's actually the largest bioterror attack that's ever happened on U.S. soil. They were poisoning the salad bars in the nearby town of Dallas. And
I don't think I've ever heard any of this. Where was I at?
I don't know, but they wanted to make, what they were doing is they wanted to make the voters too sick to vote. So they made it where they couldn't even go to the polls. So there's like 750 people got food poisoning.
Salmonella in the salad bar.
They messed them up. It's the largest biological attack on U.S. soil ever.
It sounded like they trucked in a bunch of mental illness.
They did.
Into one county.
They did. Now, you're starting to formulate what I'm saying as far as what's wrong with places like Portland.
So if people with mental illness start to breed, do they start having more mental illness? So
it's funny how that happens.
Are you saying the entire state has mental illness?
I'm not saying the entire state, but I am saying that they were right outside of Portland.
Yeah.
And where do homeless people go? They go to where they can get handouts. They can go get food. That's why they go into the cities. So, you had Rajneesh, his right-hand woman, Ma Anand Sheila. I did all this stuff. I did a big deep dive on this when I was at the Blaze a couple of years ago. And so what they caught her doing, because the federal investigators started coming in, the agents came in, they caught her plotting violence and kind of manipulating everything behind the scenes. She went to prison, and the Bhagwan fled the country, and the commune collapsed. And so while they got their land back, here's what happened. Those homeless people went into the cities.
Yeah, I was just saying, they're all still there.
And breeding. I've said forever, whenever Carter and Reagan, and they're both at fault for this, when they shut down the mental asylums and let people out, what do you think they're going to do? They immediately become
procreate
the nation's homeless. And you know what? You and I have seen them doing it, dude, under the bridge in Houston. We've seen them all shagged up in the same sleeping bag, getting after it right there in public. Yeah. I mean, again, that's what happens. So, people could do their own research on that. But what happens is when you take these people and bring them in, and Oregon's still haunted by that. You talk to people about bussing in the homeless or building a utopia. They know about it. People who pay attention to history, because it happened. So it's kind of crazy, man. It's crazy, brother. So
it's definitely insane.
Well, you get the mental illness mixed with the spiritual aspect of it, of what's going on, and it's a bad deal. Where are my notes? We got to get back on track.
Oh, sorry.
No,
the history lesson.
I like the history lesson, man. Let me get back to the show notes here. Quit blowing up my phone. I might have to start telling people. All right, let's take a look at this. This is an interesting story. This father, he confronted the school board about a secret sex club at school. Steve, were you in a secret sex club ever?
No, not ever.
It wasn't a secret?
It wasn't
a
secret.
Know?
Not
Pull
in high
that thing
school,
up,
for
David.
Sure. I was left out of that community.
Yeah. This top stories, everybody. His 12-year-old daughter nearly died by suicide. Reveals the school district operated a secretive sex club. The school district, and was instructing the parents to keep it from their parents. Play the clip. It's crazy.
In early May of 2021, my wife and I were asked by our daughter if she could attend Jenna Reap's after-school anime club at Wellington Middle School. Knowing there's a lot of inappropriate anime, we reluctantly gave our permission, trusting PSD to provide a safe, age-appropriate environment for our child. December 13th, 2021, on our bathroom floor, I sat with my child in my arms, waiting for the ambulance to arrive. She had tried to kill herself. At her request, we had pulled her from Wellington Middle School just days before. I rode with her in the back of the ambulance to the emergency room, and I sat by her side during a 72-hour hold. And the only reason they would let me do that is because she was only 12. And I watched helplessly as the ambulance pulled away to Denver. so that she could get the help that she so sorely needed. Not a single PSD employee reached out to us to understand what in the PSD environment may have contributed to her decision to end her life. Not a single PSD employee. It wasn't until May of this year when Wellington Middle School made the news that we had a much better understanding of what had happened and realized that our experience was not an isolated incident. Anime Club was actually a club about gender and sex, and when we asked our daughter if she was ever told to lie to us about it, she said she was told that students didn't have to talk to anyone about what was being said in that room, and if parents asked, students didn't need to tell them. And it felt like a slap in the face to me to listen to Brian Kingsley and Kelby Benedict, the principal, through email and in person and video, that they fully support and encourage these organizations that they know bring with them a highly elevated suicide rate. When we met with Kelby, he told us, I am proud of the community that we've created in Wellington, a community that led to my daughter's decision to try and end her life. And when we shared our experience with Kelby, he told us that kids being invited to art club and anime club were just rumors, and then suggested our daughter was lying with regards to what Jenna Reap had told her about talking to parents. I would love to trust PSD, but the last time I did, the PSD environment, which you're also very proud of, nearly cost me my child's life. And you ask me to trust you again. To what end? So you can finish the job that you started?
You know, people used to get mad at me all the time when I was on the Blaze, because pretty much every day I'd say, get your kids out of public school.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, I did. My kids never, we didn't do it. I mean, we just didn't do it. I mean, until my kids got so smart, they had to get, so they were smarter than we were. We had to get some help. But this public school stuff,
yeah,
disgusting.
I can't even believe something like that would be going on in a public school by facilitators of the school, and parents not know what your kids are doing and what they're involved in.
I
put some weight on the school, but I put some weight on the parents too.
I agree.
You got to know what your kids are doing.
I agree. But I've, back when I was running for office, and they would say, but what do we do about the schools, public education? I said, you burn the whole thing to the ground. It's a garbage institution. And people get mad at me. They're like, well, you're talking about the teachers. No, I'm not talking about the teachers. The teachers have as bad a problem as the students do, because they've got this Marxist curriculum that gets handed down to them that they're supposed to teach. And we don't educate kids anymore. They're exposed to God knows what, like this. And they don't learn critical thinking. They don't learn things like how the government works or civics or how to write a check. They don't learn how to, do their taxes or any of that stuff. They learn rote memory to get through a standardized test, and then they forget it all. They've never learned how to figure anything out. And now you're getting this kind of crap. My kid comes home and says, I'm going to anime club. No, you're not.
Yeah. Well, you also have parents that use school like a daycare. They don't care what they're learning there. They send them there to get fed, 2 meals a day and kept while they're either staying at home waiting on their check, or maybe they go to work and but they're not paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, it's just
I could go all day about it, and but it's don't get me wrong, I love the teachers. We have to have teachers, but they're not getting to teach.
They're not teaching.
No,
they're not teaching. And I know somebody's going to say, well, there's so and so. I know there's always the exception to the rule, but by and large, they're not allowed to teach. Seattle Public Schools, working with Children's Hospital. Guess what they're doing? Trans training. Yeah, they're teaching them about. They're going to provide chest binders, tucking tape, tucking underwear to kids who think they're trans in schools.
Absolutely ridiculous. Let's keep reinforcing the mental illness.
Mental illness, dude. Play this clip.
There is a district there, and this is about transgender supplies for community health workers. They're asking for things like chest binders, trans tape. What's going on here?
So there is a nearby children's hospital that has a gender clinic, and they are providing supplies to stock these like community lockers at the school so that a student can access, again, all of these. It gives new meaning to school supplies. It's literally like this trans tape is what it's called. That's a copyrighted term. Nipple guards, tucking underwear, chest binders in the school, given out to students for free so that they can, have everything that they need to identify the way they want to identify at school, right? It's almost like, oh, they don't have the supplies. Maybe their parents won't give them to them. Maybe their parents don't know. And so we're going to provide this. And by the way, this we got from public records request where we looked at emails between the clinic, the school, to figure out, like, what is this relationship? I will say, this is obviously egregious, but it's not taxpayer funded based on what I can tell. It looks like it's coming from a grant. But again, obviously wildly inappropriate, and one has to wonder really seriously what are the priorities in some of these
And
cases.
the source of that grant as well. All right, defending education's director of outreach, Eric.
We should watch all clips on twice the speed.
Yeah,
like that.
super speed. Why are they
Speed up
not,
show.
instead of trying to transform the bodies? Why are they not transforming the minds? And I don't know if that's called. Is that what conversion therapy?
Yeah.
Or how do you treat that gender dysphoria?
Well, I'll tell you how you do it. I think all children should be transitioned to Christianity.
How
about that?
Definitely a start.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do. I believe it's totally okay to transition children straight into Christianity. I mean, seriously, if you want to do something about it, at some point in time, people can get mad at me and they can say, "Oh, Chad, you're into all this spiritual stuff. You want to talk about Christianity and the Bible and all this kind of stuff." Well, you tell me what else is going to fix this society. You tell me what else is going to. I defy anybody. Our education system's screwed up. Teachers in medicine, they're all, I mean, all this stuff. They got the medical people. You got the colleges brainwashing. You got politicians that are corrupt. Tell me what's going to fix this society. Where society's never been perfect, never will be. But we call this the United States of America. I'm not united with this, and I never will be. I can't be. But I can tell you where our country did function well is when we had people who had some values and understood. People can get mad at me about this if you want. The black community, people need to go watch those Uncle Tom movies that came out. That guys like Larry Elder and Brandon Tatum and Jesse Peterson, all those guys put together and did. Vadi Botcham. Go back and watch and look at what happened. How the black families, which were together in nuclear, then the civil rights movement came along, and they began actually to profit off of destroying the family, and fatherless homes became a thing. Because the entitlements and the dependency came. And so you go back and look prior to all of that, families stayed together in the black community. They dressed up, they went to church. I mean, it was the values were there. And then all of a sudden the government got involved, screwed everything up.
Yeah, I mean,
you look at what I said about, go ahead.
You've taken God out of everything. You've taken the father out of everything. That's white communities too. That's the rates are higher and higher all the time. You don't need to be, you don't need to be married to, or to have children. You don't need to have a family. Yeah, essentially.
Well, what did I say last night? We were sitting there visiting with someone who was talking about a problem that they had with a daughter, right?
Yep.
And she was broken-hearted over something with her daughter. And if you missed this morning's Before the Noise, I gave you guys 10 steps on a rebellious child and how to proceed with that. You can wade into that if you want. But I was asking that lady some questions because it was her daughter's birthday and she hadn't talked to her daughter in 3 years, right? And I nailed it down to the problem. It was a father issue. It came down to, and all the stuff, I won't unpack it because I'm not going to give too much information. She might be watching this show. But it came down to father issues. It always, dude, I'm telling you, the ills of society always come down to the lack of fathers in this society. Yeah. It's always the lack of fathering, the lack of masculine parenting. It always comes down to that. And it's just without question, men have been eradicated, and I mean real men, true men. And they're just we need men, dude. That's why people always get on me all the time and they're like, I'll make a post about men and they're like, well, women too. I ain't talking to you women. I know what women are great. They're fantastic. I love you girls. I'm talking to men because you women tend to have it already, okay? You got it. You've had to carry a lot of responsibility that you shouldn't have to carry. It's these weak-ass, beta-soy, limp-wristed men or these dadgum masculine vagrants who've disappeared and turned their homes into orphanages because they're gone trying to make money. And, you know, they become workaholics, in love with themselves, and then having their midlife crisis. And I'm like, where are the freaking men, dude? Yeah. Look at Brandon Jenkins, whatever his name is, mayor of Chicago. What are you gonna say?
Nothing. I thought of something.
Brandon Johnson, not Brandon Jenkins.
I was like, that's
Brandon Jenkins is our late friend. Yeah. He says the right wants a civil war. Watch this. Play the clip.
Hi, Mayor.
Hi.
I know you're going to talk about the Texas Guard, Illinois Guard, but can you give us a little bit about what your next steps could be to fight that?
Well, look, our corporate counsel has been in constant communication with our Attorney General for several months now. And I just wanted to offer this up. A couple of years ago, I said very candidly that the right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War. I want that to sit in right now, because the President of the United States of America has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across America.
That's right.
He's more interested in giving billions of dollars to other nations, while farmers in urban cities around this country are literally being destabilized. And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's through executive order, or whether it's through the brave women and men who are serving as rapid responders. We literally have people who are volunteering in this city, on the southwest side, the northwest side, all over this city, to make sure that we're protecting children from being separated from their families. And we're talking about volunteers who are literally putting themselves at risk of being shot and killed by the federal government. And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's our continuous struggle for liberation.
I want to remind you, this is the mayor of Chicago talking about children being separated from their parents. You want to know the fatherlessness rate in Chicago? And this guy's got the audacity to stand up there and pontificate and piously preach? He's going to talk about people risking getting shot? This is the mayor of Chicago.
As far as I know, there hadn't been any federal government shooting anybody.
But how many of his citizens shot somebody this weekend?
Yeah,
I guarantee you. How many of them?
100%.
I mean, and he's going to sit up there and tell me and lecture us and say the right is the one that wanted a civil war. The fact that you want to equate the legal deportation of people who are not in this country legally, you equate that to the call for a civil war, that is astounding to me. You want law and order and justice, and you're here illegally, and for us to do something about that mess, something that is a tax on, it's taxing the system to have that going on. And you're going to tell me, this dude, there you go, 5 dead, 25 wounded in Chicago. That was this weekend.
Yeah. But they don't want the federal government to come in and help. And if they're going to keep on putting the stops to that, at what point do we just pull all the government assistance out of these cities or even these states?
Well, again, I go back to the great economist Milton Friedman. You can have one of two things. You can have a welfare state or you can have an open border. You can't have both. Can't have both. And this guy, dude, you've bankrupted your city, for crying out loud. Bankrupt your city. You coddle criminals. And you still going to sit there and lecture me about wanting a civil war? You take guys like him and AOC and Jasmine Crockett and put them in a bottle and just shake them up and still won't find no brain cells pouring out. There's none there. But people in Portland, Oregon, they're going to take out to the streets. They're going to harass ICE agents. Listen, first of all, God, Steve, I want to cuss.
I know you do, but all of those protesters,
90%
of those protesters are doing that for their job. They get paid by the hour.
They get paid to do it.
Every day. It's the same one. I watched this deal where they exposed, oh, this guy, he's here, he's protesting. He was just in this city last week protesting there.
And that's true. But that's true. But here's something ironic. That dude got on that building the other week and shot at those ICE agents in Dallas and ended up shooting the detainees.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to tell me that I'm supposed to worry about a civil war with a dude that can't even hit the right people?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This is insane.
That guy was on a suicide mission to begin with.
No
had
doubt
nothing
about
to do with the.
And there may have been more to it
It
than
had
all
something
that,
to do with, ICE, but I bet it didn't.
No,
that's mental illness.
Let's talk about Christy Noam. Christy revealing the truth about these ICE attacks. Yeah, people, I see you in the chat. Y'all want to cuss with me. Y'all understand. This is from Devory Darkins. She reveals the dark truth behind these attacks getting worse by the day. Let's play the clip. Talk to me, Christy.
Our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000 to kidnap them, $10,000 to kill them. They've released their picture. Situation and unprecedented. So we've put protective detail around those individuals, changed some of our operations to keep our officers safe. But make no mistake, this isn't just about, protesting free speech or that they don't like that people out here are upholding the law of our country. They're actually going out there and saying, kill these people and we'll give you this much money to do it.
Yeah. Putting bounties on them.
Why have they not mounted water cannons on these ICE facilities yet?
There's no consequences anywhere, and there's not going to do it in a place like Portland.
Yeah,
because the police, they're in cahoots. Yeah. They're in cahoots with the Antifa. They're controlled by that. So are the judges. This is what Trump had to say on sending the troops to Chicago. And, come on. He said, this isn't a political thing. Play the clip.
Mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience that you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad.
Now, let me ask you this. Where do the criminals go? I understand they arrest some and that kind of thing, and they have a police presence, but where do they go? They got to go criminalize somewhere.
Home. I mean, that's the biggest deterrent to criminal behavior is an ass beating.
Yeah.
You go home. You find another means of employment. Crime don't pay.
Well, I don't think you're going to change. I don't think you're going to go to Chicago and change the culture by arresting people, that's a culture problem.
You're never going to legislate morality. I understand that. Which again, I've said this now for a year. Politicians ain't going to save us. Policy ain't going to save us. The only thing that can transform a human heart is God. And I'm just telling you, that's the only thing that can do it. But there still has to be some law and order. You got to clean those streets up. If that's by force, then it's by force. And that's what's got to take place. where you realize there's going to be consequences, because the reason that these people do this stuff is because there's never been a consequence. And the reason there's thug behavior is, again, because there's not a father in the home to beat that ass and teach values. I mean, you've heard me say that forever. And you got to have, you know what kept me out of trouble? My father. I knew there would be consequences.
I still got, I got both. I stayed in trouble and still,
I didn't.
I got my ass beat. I give them a reason. So
I had to become an adult. I had to become an adult to get in trouble because I was scared to death of my father. All right, Allied Oilfield. Go get your coffee, Linda. AlliedOilfield.com. Check them out. They're over in Levelland, Texas. They are building the equipment for our oil fields and our trucking industry. And if you are in those industries, check them out. AlliedOilfield.com. You got that big equipment out there needs refurbished. They can do that for you. Innovators, designers, creators. A lot of their equipment is something that they created and invented that became industry standard. Helps us drill, baby, drill. So check them out at AlliedOilfield.com. And call them up and see if they'll send you some of their merch. Man, they got some great stuff. I like wearing their, like my new favorite golf shirt is my Allied Oilfield golf shirt. But check them out. You can call them 855-EQUIP-US. And go get your coffee, Linda, while everybody else goes to AlliedOilfield.com. Do-do-do-do-do. Boy, my mother used to tell me, Steve, she used to say, go pick out a belt. Go pick out a belt. Yeah, I'd go get Dad's like one of his canvas belts. She's like, don't you bring me that. You go to get a leather belt. And then the bad thing is, my mama would whip me, and then you had to wait on Dad to get home.
Yeah, because he's going to get his turn and he would whip me because Mom had to whip me.
That's right.
So
now he had to come deal with it.
That was a protocol.
Had to come deal with it. So you got this federal judge. There's always these federal judges. They are blocking Trump sending 200 troops to Portland. Of course they are. She said this nation is a nation of constitutional law, not martial law. She was actually appointed by Trump, confirmed unanimous vote in 2019.
If the local law enforcement cannot take care of it, they need help. And I do feel like it is the federal government's job to come in and help when needed.
Yeah, well,
obviously needed.
Do I like it? No, I don't like it. I don't like that this is the situation we're living in at all. She'll end up being overruled on this, and it's going to happen. So, these judges you can't deal with these judges, man. Stephen Miller, this is what he had to say on, Stephen Miller just went absolute scorched earth. Play this clip.
Brian Ainsley and Lawrence, good morning, friends. Today, the White House will have to come up with a new plan to address what it's calling a crime crisis in Portland, Oregon. As you mentioned, a federal judge over the weekend who was appointed by President Trump blocked the president's efforts to deploy National Guard troops. These troops would come from Oregon as well as other states, including Texas and California. Now, this is a temporary ruling, but no doubt a setback for the White House and its efforts to address what it says is an outrageous, unlawful, and dangerous situation.
Portland is burning to the ground. You have agitators, insurrectionists. The governor, the mayor, the politicians are petrified for their lives. And you have a judge like that, that judge ought to be a king of them.
We are hearing from White House senior aides, including Stephen Miller, who said there is no legal distinction between a state volunteering guardsmen to guard the border and volunteering guardsmen to guard a federal immigration facility. Either we have a federal government supremacy clause in a nation, or we don't. We're also hearing from California Governor Gavin Newsom, the Democrat, writing, the court granted our request for a temporary restraining order halting any federalization, relocation, or deployment of any Guard members to Oregon from any state. Trump's abuse of power won't stand. Well, a governor who was in favor of this plan is Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who said he authorized the president to call up to 400 members of the Texas National Guard to ensure safety for federal officials. Either you fully enforce protection for federal employees or get out of the way and let the Texas Guard do it.
You can't disagree with that.
Yeah, and Gavin Newsom, anything California does, it's the wrong direction. So
always. Always. I mean, his homelessness. You talk about homelessness. I mean, that thing's gone up, what, 30% since he's been governor?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a douchebag. I mean, dude's an idiot. Anything they do, I really do try to wrap my head around how these people think. And it just, like, these are federal employees right here. These are federal employees. And by the way, the National Guard, these are, you're talking about volunteer army. You're talking about people who, they volunteer to do this. And you got these morons out here.
I'm telling you, if you're blocking a vehicle that is a federal vehicle, if you're blocking the roadway, you have a water cannon and you just blow them all out of the way and you drive on. And,
that's
you might
what's
drown
going
one
on.
or two, but.
There you see David right there, David Medina, PDX. Follow him out there. I mean, that's going on right now. Actively blocking neighbors from driving through the street in front of a Portland ICE building. Now, why would they allow that? Like, why would you allow that to happen? And these people are trash. I mean, they are. Go ahead and play it, David. Yeah. What were you saying, Steve?
If you put your hands on a government vehicle, that should be, lock them up.
Well, and they're blocking citizens. I mean, these citizens are just trying to get where they need to go. And I mean, my thing is all these masked people. I'm like, what do you, first of all, you don't know what a fascist is. You can't define it. It's just somebody you disagree with politically. That's all they ever say, And
I would probably accidentally hit the gas pedal instead of the brake.
Yeah, you're just like, whoopsie. I mean, I just don't have a whole lot of compassion.
I mean, if you were driving in a situation like that, would you fear for your life? And could you stomp on the gas to get out of it? If you thought people were trying to break into your
you're
car?
going to be the one that goes to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be the one that gets arrested. And again, you can't trust any type of real justice to come because, I mean, oh, boy. I don't know. We're off the rails on this stuff.
Yeah.
But, you got this stuff going on with, like Nick Sorter getting arrested and all this kind of stuff. He's getting arraigned today. I don't really agree with these guys that are going up there and inserting themselves in the situation for clicks and likes.
Yeah, and that's the reason we chose not to go up there, because we would be inserting ourselves, and all of a sudden you almost become the antagonist.
You become the problem. And what I was going to say a minute ago is you now subject yourself to a court system that is corrupt and a justice system that's not going to give you a fair shake on this. And you've put yourself at the mercy of some people that are just absolutely godless. I mean, I had a good friend of mine the other day who said, I just don't understand why we don't send some hard-ass pipe hitters up there with a chip on their shoulder and put this protest down really pretty quick, because I promise you, they don't want that. Oh, man. I don't know. It's just sad to see. It really is. The confrontations outside of the Portland ICE detention center after a driver says this protester spit on him. I mean, then they're going to pull over and they're going to, I see these clips, dude. I don't have the patience and peace of any of that stuff. Here's one of our pinheads of the day. Listen to Don Lemon's deal right here. Play this clip. Yeah.
You feel about the ICE raids?
The who?
ICE raids.
Like
immigration.
I feel good about them.
Yeah, you want them to crack down?
More, yes.
You do?
Yes, been wanting it for years, all my life.
And what about them like roughing people up?
Nah, that shit crazy. Don't put your hands on nobody. That's crazy. Don't hurt nobody. Do it the legal way.
But that's what they're doing, though.
That shit ugly. Then no, I don't feel great about that. I mean, don't hurt nobody. At the same time, get them out of here. Get them all out of here, please and thank you. Trump 4 more years for that.
Did you
just for that? Just
Did
for
you
that.
vote for him?
No, hell no. I can't vote. I lost my voting rights when I was 22 years old. I apologize.
You went away?
Yeah, for assault and battery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you said 4 more years for Trump?
Just because I want him to concentrate on nothing but immigration and getting them out of here. Just for that.
You don't think they contribute to the economy?
Yeah. No, they don't. They did not. We do all right.
Yeah,
Don Lemon. When Don Lemon heard about prison, he got a little turned on right there.
Yeah, he continues to go out there and get owned by people agreeing with the way things are going, and he keeps putting it up there. So he's he's on our side.
I mean, basically, he's proven. I mean, you stick a microphone in the face of the average American out there that's got any common sense whatsoever. Yeah, that's what you're going to get. Now, another pinhead of the day. This girl, she wants to mess around. Watch what this girl gets. I mean, she finds out immediately.
Who is talking to you? No. Hey, this is the line that they created.
Yeah. Now you got to deal with that screaming.
Yeah, I think she wanted that. That's like I say, the people going out there for their views and their clicks and stuff like that. That's ridiculous. And make the news. Hey, I made the news.
I'm telling you that hurts me to see. I mean, but she got it right there in the face. Take it in the face.
Yeah, she probably gained a few thousand followers.
And then here's one of my favorite clips I watched on repeat. This guy, Immediate Fafo, right here. He gets in the face of this. You don't have the right to do this, and he finds out immediately. Play the clip.
Get out of our city! Get out of our state! Get out of here, bitch! Get out of our state!
Boom! See ya!
They only yell scream because they think they can't do anything to retaliate.
Right. Oh boy. Oh boy. More of that. But again,
they would not do that to anyone else on the street. They know that these officers really can't do too much.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's like screaming at a lion behind the cage, you know.
Well, it's again, I go back to what I said earlier in the show. What'd you say, David? You talking to me? You might. Oh yeah, we got an emergency pinhead. That's good, David. Let's put it up there. What do you got? Oh, Zach Bryan. Yeah, the country music guy or whatever. He's a wiener. He made something. I haven't heard the song, but he basically toss it up there if you got it, David. If we got the I love to see that over and over again.
So he's
made
making
something
an
about
anti-ice.
Well, I don't know if it's. I don't know. I haven't heard the song. They're accusing him of that, basically saying ICE is knocking at your door and whatever, blah blah blah. So what they says is he's got a new song called "Bad News" where he bashes federal ICE agents. He says he claims the red, white, and blue is fading. I'll have to listen to the song and hear what the context because those two lines don't come together in the song the way I'm reading that. He might just be referring to that. So we'll see. But he is, he slapped his girlfriend around a little bit, so I don't have any respect for that douche anyway. So.
Oh yeah, that's the one that got into a tiff with the cops too.
Yeah, and then he was going to have a big fight with Gavin Adcock and all that stuff. Whatever, wieners. They're all wieners. Yeah. Oh, Stephen. And if people think, people can say, "Oh, Portland, blah blah blah." Listen, there's good people up there, and you know what? If it can happen there, it can happen anywhere. It can happen in any of our cities. It can. And we gotta pray, dude. I mean, we just do. I do encourage you, parents and grandparents, process your kids through all this stuff because they're seeing this stuff, and they're trying to make sense of it. And in their minds, they're thinking that maybe these protests are righteous and justified. We gotta process our kids through all of these things, man. We just do. And so, these places where they have gotten away with it without consequence forever, like Portland, like Seattle, like Austin, like Baltimore, like Chicago, like New York. I mean, LA, Sacramento. It's Memphis. It's the list of usual suspects in these big cities that are going to do it. And they all have their unique problems, but ultimately it comes down to the evil of a human heart. And these people are going to do it. Because I guarantee you, most of those people out there screaming and yelling, blocking traffic and all that, if you got them in an honest conversation, first of all, you never get them in an honest conversation because they don't have a developed brain. They're idiots. And they can't tell you. They'll scream at you. They'll scream at you. And they'll insult you. And they'll cuss you like that dude who spit in the face of the guy who kept saying, F you, F ICE, F you, get an F out of Portland. You have no argument, dude. You have no, there's no critical thought there. You just
make it
$9
an hour.
Yeah. All right, Party Foul Steve, I'll holler at you in a minute. Any final word from you, my brother?
Good deal. Yeah. Make sure you're following me on the socials. At
On the
Party Foul Steve.
socials.
Mainly
On the
Venmo.
socials. He likes that Venmo, y'all. All right, buddy. I'll holler at you in a minute. All right, okay, guys. Let's let me give you my final word here. Let's get into this.
Final word.
Wow, wow.
Where's the final word thing?
I don't know. And you're still here too. What are you doing? What are you doing here, Steve? Give me my final word graphic. Click it. Click it, David. David, click it. Yep. It's okay. Just see if you're there. There it is. Look at me. I wasn't going to do it without that. You guys ever notice how we are living in an F around and find outs generation? I mean, it is a FAFO. Everybody thinks that they can test the limits and spit in the face of truth and mock God and break the law and somehow not reap what they sow. And so it's like a cause and effect. I should say cause and effect went out of fashion. But here's the thing. Reality still keeps the receipts. So the laws of nature and the laws of morality and the laws of common sense don't care about your feelings. You can play dumb all you want, but sooner or later, you're going to find out. You really are. There's always going to be consequences to your actions. So what's happened is we've turned rebellion into a virtue. This is why I say I want you to talk to your kids because they're literally being told that this type of rebellion is a good thing. Go back and watch Before the Noise this morning when I talk about your rebellious kids and grandkids. And so you have folks out there running around, burning flags, looting stores, calling it social justice, screaming in everybody's face, spitting in people's face. You want to cry to defund the police and then cry when their car gets stolen, okay? You want to mock manhood and wonder why no men are going to stand up for them. You want to destroy the family, then complain about broken homes and the results of the burden it places on society. You can't redefine everything sacred and then get mad when life loses its meaning. And people would call me a bigot for saying these things. It's just common sense. What happens when that happens is not oppression. It's the FAFO principle in action. See, the old generation understood this. Like, I grew up on Sanford and Son. I don't get offended, right? I just don't. We don't get offended by stuff. You know, I saw this checklist the other day about things that we've done. Have you ever used a paper map? Have you ever used a payphone or rotary phone? Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of transition in life, you know, those of us Gen X and older. But that older generation, you know, my grandfather didn't need a TED Talk or a TikTok video to figure things out. Like, if my father said, don't touch that fence over there, but you went over there and did it anyway, you found out what 12 volts of wisdom felt like. You know, if you ran your mouth, you found out what the back of a callous hand meant. You know, it wasn't abuse. It was instruction. You learn that choices have consequences, and consequences actually do build character. Now we have a nation with no character. We got a nation that wants privilege without responsibility. They want safety without any sacrifice. They want power without any principle. The identity that they want comes without accountability. They want to play God, but they never meet him. And I'm telling you, America is on the verge of finding out. Now, we've flirted with chaos long enough. We've pushed God out, morality out, truth out, and now we're standing around wondering why we're in the dark. You can't spit in the wind of righteousness forever. You can't keep poking the lion and then act surprised when it bites your hand off. The Bible says, do not be deceived. God's not mocked. Whatever man sows, that will he also reap. That's the original FAFO, okay? You sow corruption, you reap decay. You sow rebellion, you reap ruin. You sow pride, you reap destruction. So I think maybe, just maybe, it's time that we remember that principle again. Maybe it's time we quit crying about the consequences and start living with conviction that helps us avoid the consequences. Maybe America needs a hard reminder that freedom only survives where truth is honored. Because if you mess around long enough, and we're going to see this is going to get worse before it gets better, you mess around long enough, and I promise you, you will find out. Get my book, Born for Meaning. My goodness, we need more meaning in our lives. Help get some identity going back in this culture. Get it over on Amazon. Leave a review. And it's blessing a lot of people's lives. I'm so thankful for the messages I get. And join me Before the Noise every morning at 8, 7 Central. Jump in the live chat on Rumble if you haven't done yet. If you've missed any episodes, you can go back to beforethenoise.com. That's a good, easy place to go watch them. and check them out. Also, I post some articles in there as well, so just click the blog. And then you can get this very shirt I'm wearing, Make America Pray Again. Some people say, oh, really, that's wrong. You're going to make people pray. No, God is going to, that's again, FAFO. And I hate using that acronym in and then talk about God, but it is what it is. God's going to make you pray. One way or another, God's going to make that mouth confess some things. And so I'm praying that God will make us pray again. And make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Leave us a rating over on Rumble and Spotify. I'm sorry, not Rumble, on Apple Podcast. And do that for Before the Noise as well. Go look up Before the Noise right now. Do me a favor. Go over to Before the Noise on Apple Podcast. Leave a 5-star rating and review. And listen to it as well. That helps us get the word out. More people will hear it when it gets higher up in the rankings. That's the way this podcast thing works. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for being a part of the show. Thank you for throwing those dancing bananas in there. And know that I love you guys. I'm going to jump off of here, and I will see you tomorrow morning Before the Noise. Until then, pray for Portland, pray for Chicago, pray for our country, pray for our leadership. I love y'all. God bless you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.